to go if we damage this Earth ecosystem.
Right, and if you look around the world now, there are some common problems. Of course, there are some national problems, but what are the most pressing environmental needs now, and how do we go about solving them?
Oh, yeah, so I'm going to start from Nigeria, which is more of a concern to us. A pressing environmental concern for Nigeria is the recurrent flooding which we have every year. Sometimes they get so bad that we have lots of loss of lives and livelihoods. Another pressing issue for Nigeria, which is, of course, as a result of climate change, is the problem of desertification, especially in the northern parts of the country. If you combine this desertification problem as well as the drought problem, I think it's so much for Nigeria to handle as a country. In other parts of the world, we see problems like forest fires, happening, just erupting as a result of landscapes getting drier. But that is not necessarily a problem for Nigeria. For Nigeria, majorly we have issues like flooding, issues like desertification and drought, and these issues are, leading to other problems which are related to climate change. Like we have conflicts as a result of climate change, as a result of drought, as a result of desertification, because resources that should have been available for a large number of persons are reduced on a daily basis. So you have lesser resources and you have more people that have to, manage resources. So this scarcity is causing as a result of desertification. You also have lots of people displaced from their homes as a result of flooding, and this also leads to conflict. This leads to loss of lives and livelihoods, and these are direct impacts that we're feeling as Nigerians, and we see these things happening over and over again every year. So, so those are some of the issues as regards to Nigeria.
And how do we make a difference this time around, talking about the recurring climate issues in Nigeria, one of which is floods?
Yes, so there are different ways we could make a difference, and I think that is why we have the theme of this year's Earth Day as Invest in Our Planet. There are different ways you could invest in this planet as a Nigerian, as a human being, and I'm just going to highlight 2 or 3. One way we can invest in our planet and to reduce the scourge of climate change is to reduce your carbon footprint. So you can reduce your carbon footprint as a Nigerian by using non-motorized transport systems, by walking and cycling to your offices, to your homes, to your worship places. That way you reduce the volume of carbon emission that would have emanated from the vehicle you would have used to those places. You can also use digital tools for writing instead of using papers, because the more papers you use, the more trees that have to be cut down. Also, it's also important to note that you shouldn't cut the tree. Don't cut that tree. But if you have to cut the tree, then you can plant another. You can plant trees in your neighborhoods, in your compounds, plant flowers in your homes, and in your business places. And also, another basic thing which people may not be aware of is the fact that they shouldn't concretize all the surfaces in their homes or in their workplaces. Don't concretize places when you're building. This way, you would allow for more percolation of water, more seepage of water into the soil, and reduce the emission of radiation back into the atmosphere, which goes ahead to warm the atmosphere. There are different ways. You can also reduce your use of single-use plastics. These nylons we get when we go shopping in the market or in the mall, because the more nylons you collect, the more you're going to degrade the environment. These nylons take 100 years to decompose, and they also go ahead to block our drainages and all that, leading to flooding and all other environmental issues. So reduce the use of single-use plastics. And we've also seen countries like Kenya, like Zimbabwe, and more recently the United Kingdom banning single-use plastics because of the impacts they have on the environment. So as an individual, Nigeria has not banned single-use plastics. We hope that will happen soon. But then you can go a very long way to reduce your usage of it. And then people can also switch to renewable energy sources. I'm excited when I see homes with solar panels on top of them, or when in local communities, when I see small solar panels on the roofs, collecting energy which they use in their homes. I think this is more. The government can also help by reducing the taxes on solar products, so that more people can adopt this renewable energy source. And more importantly, businesses should. Okay.
I'm afraid, Dr. Njoku, we've run out of time. We thank you very much for speaking with us on TVC News. Dr. Chukwudi Njoku, an environmental sustainability advocate, joining us from Port Harcourt. Many thanks again. Muslims